Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new battle report, Age of Sigmar, 2000 points, and it's going to be Stormcast Eternals versus Sylvaneth. This is the first game on a local tournament, was quite a small tournament, 8 people, and the first scenario for all of the people was Blood and Glory. The terrain was set up by the organization, and they roll for magical terrain, and you cannot move. It's going to be the same for all the battles. So this is fixed in all the tables for all the different turns. So you should not move the dices that are showing what type of terrain are you playing with, and you should not move the terrain from position. My list, is an S. So I play with a lot of heroes. So the Celestian Prime, Lord Celestial on Drakot, the Knight Venator, the Knight Heraldor, the Castellan, and the Relictor. So the option here is the Lord Celestial on Drakot will be my Warlord. He is going to have the Stone of Phoenix to be able to recover a wound, and he will have Reckless to reroll charges around him. I will use him as a bubble to hook the units in position. Knight Venator is a sniper. Knight Heraldor, I was very pleased in the previous battle when I used him, and I wanted to use it again to keep testing. Lord Castellan, I think, is synergizing very well with the army, giving this +1 armor. And the Lord Relictor is just to have a chip and some way to recover some wounds or make some direct damage. Celestial Prime is my response to my limited movement, and yeah, the plan is try to do damage on the backward of the enemy arriving from deep strike or arriving from the skies. Then on my lines my battle lines I have 2 units of 5 Judicators and 3 units of 5 Liberators. The Judicators with their bows. In that way I have a long range, and they will give a very nice support to the close combat units. And then as a rest of the units I have Prosecutors with Javelins, Retributors, and the Griff Hounds. First time I'm using the Griff Hounds, and just because I need a unit of 80 points and I don't have any other, if I will be able to use another unit of Prosecutors, I will have used another unit of Prosecutors with Javelins. So this is my list. My opponent's list have Dvicha, Spirit of Durthur, Brandwage, 2 units of 3 Revenants, 3 units of Spite Revenants, a big unit of Kurnot Hunters, 6 with a Great Bow, and a unit of 20 Dryads. Let's go for the deployment. And you see that in the middle of the battlefield there is a big forest. This is the forest that is put by, this is the wildwood, this is the wildwood put by the Sylvaneth. So this is the forest, and I have to be very careful there. But the drawback here is that I have my guy with the trumpet. So if I start blowing the trumpet on this forest, that is one piece of terrain, I start dishing a lot of mortal wounds on all the units inside. So if he wants to use the forest in his advantage, he will have to pay a toll. This is a little bit of my deployment, and what I decide is this is the battle that you have four. We have 4 objectives, 2 in my deployment zone and 2 in the other deployment zone. If you capture the 4 objective after turn 3, you're automatically winning. If you don't do that, at the end of the turn 5, the one that have more objective is have a minor victory. So my plan here was to go for a minor victory. So I will protect my objective. I will try that Sylvaneth can take my objectives, and I will try to grab one of the enemy objectives. So for this reason, I put 1 unit of Liberators in each side and 1 unit of Judicators in each side. These units in the flanks will protect the objectives. I will use the Knight Venator to give support fire where is needed, and I will use the Prosecutors with Javelins to give support fire where is needed. And then the rest of the army, I will try to move forward to try to capture one of the enemy objectives. So this is the plan. I will need to keep 1 hero in my backward to be able to keep the reroll as I have the order special rule. And this here we have the deployment of my enemy. He make a big block in the middle with the Dryads and some of the, I don't know the name, the Revenants I think, and the other the Spites. and and then on the right flank, and he's protecting one of the objectives with 2 units, and he left the other objective, as you can see in the left, and desert. I guess he will deploy. Yeah, he have the Revenant just behind the tower, so he can move there to grab the objective when it's needed. So looking that, I will try to bounce my army to the left to go for this desert objective. Here we have, but he has a strong, and I think he didn't realize here that I have the trumpet. So if he start moving in the middle of this forest, I can start blowing the trumpet inside and really making some important damage on the enemy unit. So here we have the same, another picture. And here we have the 2 armies, one in front of each other, and then in the bottom you can see the other tables also deploying. I forgot to mention we are playing in small tables, 2x2. This is, I think, at 2000 points. This is too much points for this table, and you will see that, yeah, some of the command abilities, they reach almost the full where you need it, because the table is small and you don't need to spread your army on long distances. And here a picture from my opponent's side, how my army looks like. And ready to start with the turn 1. So turn 1 will be for the Sylvaneth. They will start as I deployed more units than my opponent and I finish the second. So he start using the common abilities, immune to battle shock to the Dryads, and the +1 save with the how it's called the Mystic Shield. He used other powers, but not was too far to make damage with the magical powers. So he decided to take the initiative and start moving ahead against me. Here we have one of the shop managers, and the Kurnots arrive from the reserves, and he decided to deploy them there in the hill, try to shoot down my Knight Venator. So yeah, they are another unit, and now this is becoming, they are quite tough. The shooting is quite strong, and they can do a lot of damage on my units. So I have to be careful, and they have a lot of wounds. I think it's 5 wounds each. So here I have 30 wounds that I need to kill, and I want to eliminate really this shooting unit. And they, as I say, they shoot to my Knight Venator, but my Knight Venator was in cover. He managed to do only one wound go through the armor, and he rolled a 1 on the D3 damage. I think it's D3 damage if I'm not wrong. He rolled a 1, so not very scared. He could kill my Knight Venator just in 1 round of shooting, so I was lucky that I put him inside of the terrain. And then we go to my turn. So his turn not much. No, of course, no close combat, no more shooting. So I decide to start bouncing my army to my left flank, and I just move the prosecutors to my right flank to give more support. I will left alone almost 1 unit of judicators, 1 unit of liberators, and I will support them with the prosecutors, and they need to resist on the right flank. And my offensive force will go in my left flank. It's going to be mainly the Retributors, the Castellan, the Relictor, the Lord Celestan, and another unit of Liberators. And they will have the support fire of the Judicators, and I will leave at the background 1 of Liberators just to protect the objectives. Of course, the Knight Venator will be placed where is needed to give the supporting fire. And the first thing is I blow the trumpet, and you see I start dishing mortal wounds to a lot of the enemy units, the Vicha, the Brandwatch, the Dryads start losing guys, and also the Thriller. So I really I blow the trumpet. And to be fair, I was rolling very high on the area effect, and I was also damaging my own units. This one, I think in this one I avoid damage my own units, but in the next one I will do some damage on my own units. So here we see they keep advancing. This is after the damage, not too much, just 1 wound there and here and there. And here is my army after the movement. I did not move very aggressively. I did not run. I'm just repositioning. I need to be careful with the 3-man, and also there is a lot of Dryads. So Still quite conservative. And yeah, I was considering I have time to arrive to my opponent's army. The trumpet, it's really the guy, the heraldor, is a guy that is giving a lot of options because you also can give run and charge to one of your units. In the shooting, I just scratched some wounds to the Kurnots, but not too many. I think I did not kill one complete of them. And we go into the turn 2. And again, the Sylvaneth won the initiative. So they keep moving ahead, the Dryads move ahead. The Tree Lord try to get out of the forest, the Dryad also try to get out of the forest. Just to he realized that there is a lot of risk and my trumpet can do a lot of damage there. At this moment, I think he realized that the Kurnots should be deployed in a different way, that in order that he can shoot my Knight Herald, but my Knight Herald is out of sight, so this is the problem, and this is why he cannot shoot at him at this moment, and I'm just into the range to be able to blow the trumpet into the forest. So he just moves, you see the Dryad to the right, then the three remnants, they were stacked 2 times. This terrain was the mystical terrain, and 2 times they were with wolves, so they could not move. Okay, so this is why this unit is still there behind the tower, and he keep the other the spites and the other unit of remnants just behind the ruins to hold one of his objectives. And yeah, this is how looking at my army. No, he did some shooting again. And I think he only managed to scratch another wound on the Knight Venator and some other wounds that were not important. And here I was showing you what to say. This unit was Beowulf for second time in the game. Yeah, and I say the shooting just scratched some wounds on my Knight Venator, but not too much damage. And we go into my turn again. And this time the Knight Herald takes a lot of air and blow very strong, 6 inches away from the... All units at 6 inches of this piece of terrain are receiving these 3 mortal wounds. As you can see, I impacted 6 units from my opponent. And because I did 3 damage to one of the spites, and they will run away at the end of the turn in the battle shock. The Brand Witch, no, it's very hard. I think only 1 wound remaining. The Tree Lord healed in the previous turn all his wounds, but he's receiving again 3 wounds more. So this is really strong. And then I also I decide to bring my Celestial Prime, and I put more wounds on. I think at the end of the turn, the Brand Witch was with only 1 wound, and the Tree Lord was minus 6 wounds. So really, I was maximizing my mortal wounds. I also did damage on the Dryads. I think the Dryads were really thinning down in numbers. And you see here in the movement phase, I give the run and charge to my Retributors, but I did not manage to charge. So and then I arrive with, as I said, with the Celestial Prime in my flank, and I decide to charge on the Kurnots. I want really to reduce these numbers. They can do a lot of damage in their flank. I want to eliminate them, so they are very good snipers. I did not super good, but at least I killed one and I wound another one. So it's in danger now because you know the Celestial Prime is a little bit of Alpha Strike. It's a little bit of less Alpha Strike. It's not have a good armor 3+, but it's only 8 wounds, so it's not that difficult to kill. And here what I want to show is just also the trumpet when blows so strong, I start doing damage to my units of Liberators. So I did 1 wound on 1 unit of Judicators because 6 inches is quite a lot from the terrain, and I killed 2 of my Liberators doing 2 mortal wounds. So was not without a cost, but I think yeah, this guy of the trumpet really have paid back the cost. 120 points, but if your enemy is using a big piece of terrain to go through, you can do a lot of damage. And this is after the combat, And you see, no, I managed to kill, so I rest in combat with 3 of them. So uh, they can know, if they have the initiative, they can shoot at me, and they can, if I'm not careful, I think there are 4. No, there are 4 of them. I only managed to kill 1. Yeah, I only have 4 attacks because I coming in the turn 2, so I'm not that crazy. And they have 5 wounds each. So yeah, I was wondering, I was expecting to do a little bit more damage, but at the end, I get a stack. And now they can shoot at me, and if they have the initiative, they can kill the Celestial Prime. Okay, here we see just to indicate that we're fighting. And this is an overview of the battlefield after the turn 2, at the end of the turn 2. So as you can see, I'm advancing in my left flank. I'm becoming defensive in my right flank, and I'm also moving the Knight Venator in the middle, so in that way he can give the reroll to my units of Liberators and Judicators if they receive damage in the battle shock, and also can give some supporting fire. From that position, almost the Venator can shoot everywhere. Here you have another overview before going to the turn 3. Yeah, just before going to the turn 3, the other shooting, I was dishing some more wounds. So at this moment, the Dryads were really damaged. Even though they are in the forest and they have extra save, but I was using my Judicators in the right flank, and I was using the Knight Venator to really plus the mortal wounds, and also the Celestial Prime was in range to use. The Celestial Prime, the Lord Celestial was in range to use the breath weapon, so I was really doing damage on the Dryads, and I think at this moment he have less than 10 Dryads. This is just to show that my Celestial Prime was also wounded by the attacks back. So he's on 6 wounds, and if I don't have the initiative, I think he's going to have tough time. But I think if he's focusing all the fire on the Celestial Prime, I'm okay, because my objective here is to win time to have my rest of the army to capture the objective of the opponent. And with that, we go into the turn 3, we roll for initiative, and I lost again, so the initiative is again for the Sylvaneth, and decide to take it. And this is at the end of the Sylvaneth turn. This is really at the end. I forgot to make pictures. You see, he shoot everything into the Celestial Prime, and between this and the Storms, I was forgetting, they have the Storm attack, and this Storm attack, it's making mortal wounds on him. So after the Storms and everything, I was at 1 wound. So he barely survived the Sylvaneth turn. As you can see also at the bottom of the pictures, the Revenants finally decide to move. They roll more than 1, and they went to hold the objective. And this is before I'm moving, so this is at the end of the turn. He did not do too much damage after that, because the other shooting was not capable, and he decided not to do any charge. I was expecting the Tree Lord to come here and charge against my Retributors, but he played quite conservative here, quite defensive. And Dvacha just moved ahead and used some shooting into my units. And I don't know, I think he killed one of my prosecutors with javelins. Really, in that flank is Dvacha against the Retributors, Liberators, Judicators, and Prosecutors. We have the Dryads there in the middle of the forest, but they are quite reduced in numbers. I'm not scared anymore. Even my Liberators can deal with the Dryads. And I will not go into the forest to heal them, so if they want to come for the objective, they will need to get out of this forest. And then we go into the combat phase. This is at the end of my turn. Sorry that I just skipped, but it was a tournament and I skipped to the pictures. But in the shooting phase, I killed the Brandwage using the Comet from the Celestial Prime, plus the Trumpet again make a complete blast on the opponent. So again, he did 6 inches range for second time, and he really dished a lot of damage onto my enemy units. The Twi Lord is only at 3 wounds to be killed, I think, at this moment. So really, he was suffering with all these mortal wounds because I was the trumpet plus the comet that was falling on him. The Ring Watch was dead, but I need to do the 2 attacks because he regained some wounds. The Vaicha used the power to give her D6 wounds back. But even with that, I managed to kill the Brand Witch. And I started making mortal wounds on almost everywhere. Then in the assault phase, I assault with the Retributors this time, and I assault with the Celestian Prime. I give the trumpet, give the run and charge to the Celestian, no Celestian Prime, sorry, the Lord Celestian. The Celestian Prime was already in combat, so I give the run and charge to the Lord Celestian, and then I move the Retributors to a distance that they can assault easily. So I assault with the Retributors to the Revenants and to the Kurnots. And yeah, this is after the attack. This is just after the attack of the Celestian Prime. The Celestian Prime killed 2 of the Kurnots. Yeah, I was really doing a lot of damage there. I think he attacked back to the Celestian Prime, but he did not manage to do a wound to me. Only 1 wound remaining, remember? And yeah, this is during the combat phase. You see, I also move from my backward. I move my Liberators into the front. At this moment, I feel quite confident the Judicators can hold the objective alone. And I just leave at the back the Castellan and the what's called this, the Relictor. So I think the Lord Castellan and the Lord Relictor can deal with the Dryads also if they decide to go in my left flank. And this is the damage that the Retributors do. So they attack and they kill everybody except 1 Revenant. So they completely smash the Sylvaneth. And yeah, and at the end of the turn, this guy will take a battle shock and will run away. So this was at the end of the battle because yeah, we ran out of time and we only managed to play 3 turns. So in that way, I was securing a minor victory. Yeah, my strategy was I was thinking a strategy for 5 turns. So if I had continued, I think I was able to really keep conserve that. I know that the Twilor no would come against my Lord Celestian, but I think the Lord Celestian with the boost, the +1 save from the Lord Castellan, it's very, very, very strong. Here we see my left flank. I think here I really managed to overrun the Sylvaneth. Again, picture from the left flank. Yeah, if we continue about it, maybe my Celestian Prime will die. He only needs to scratch 1 wound to the Celestian Prime to kill him. So here we have this an overview. So I think that yeah, if we have continued, I think I will have secured the victory anyway. And here is the other flank. The Witcher was only 2 wounds from being killed. I tried to force the death of Dvicha, and yeah, in the other flank I was not that strong, so I just sent the Liberators there. But I have quite good shooting with the Venator and the unit of Judicators. You can do some damage there. I keep my Prosecutors just at the back. There were no way that I can capture the objective. They had 2 units of 5 holding his objective in terrain, so there was no way that I can manage to kill them. And here is the units. These are all shooting units protecting my objective. You'll see the Judicators. I lost 2 of them, and it's because of my shooting. So I killed 2 of my Judicators with the trumpet. They was so big the blast I did every time that I was damaging my own Judicators. And here a picture from the sky of Dvacha against the Liberators. And yeah, a picture of me holding one of my objectives, and here holding the other objective, and here holding the third objectives. So at the end, the battle, I managed to hold 3 objectives for 1 of the Sylvaneth. So minor victory. I was quite happy. I think was according to my plan. Uh, Going for the four objective in this mission, going for the major victory is really, really difficult. And you need the 5 tons. It's impossible that you get a major victory. If you have a decent opponent, it's impossible that you get a major victory in just 3 tons. Or you need a super fast army, and the Stormcast are not that super fast. At least not if you don't use Extremis Chamber, and then if you use Extremis Chambers, you get a completely different army. So that's all. Yeah, you can like, share, and you can also support me in Patreon if you want. And as I always explain, all the money collected in Patreon, it's to be used in the channel. So in different ways, in miniatures, in painting for painting, miniatures for painting tutorials, material to show you what is the new launches from Games Workshop, and also buying new equipment, try to improve my channel. Yeah, and that's all for now. As usual, thanks a lot for watching and see you again later. Bye.